Now, I want to get back to this issue of socialism, since it's rather prominent these days. There's another article here by Fox. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the socialist congressional candidate from New York, who touts honestly and authenticity, as her greatest strengths, used to describe herself as a follower of Adam Smith, the so-called father of capitalism. We're starting to see here, ladies and gentlemen, that this woman is a complete and utter fraud, as are most leftists. Capitalism. And said that term, and that terms like feminism and empowerment were relics from the past. Oh, my goodness. Since then, she's come out as an unapologetic democratic socialist, wishing to see greater taxation and expansion and creation of wide-ranging social programs such as single-payer health care system, free education, and housing as a right. I think my strength is I'm honest and authentic, she said on The Daily Show. But not that long ago, 28-year-old Ocasio-Cortez harbored a lot milder, if not radically different, view. During her time at Boston University, where she studied economics and international relations and graduated in 2011 with cum laude honors, she described herself as a believer in Adam Smith's analysis and wrote a number of blog posts hinting at her views, according to posts reviewed by Fox News. She believes in Mahatma Gandhi's methods, Adam Smith's analyses, and Pablo Neruda's love. Her experiences growing up in a Puerto Rican household, from the Barrows to beyond, has afforded her a uniquely American experience with all the tragedy and hilarity that accompanies it. She described herself in a student-run publication called BU Culture Shock, which she co-founded. In a 2009 blog post, Ocasio-Cortez called feminism into question, writing that, quote, the terms feminism and empowerment don't seem to capture the priorities of our generation, and the words themselves sound like relics from the past, frumpy and outdated, quote unquote. Quote, we no longer live in the same fight for equality of prior generations. We've moved to the widely accepted reality that marginalizing 50% of a given population doesn't make much sense, mathematically or socially, she wrote. We no longer live in the same fight for equality of prior generations. Wow, she used to sound pretty smart. Must have banged her head or something. The New York Democrat could also learn a few things from herself, having written in a 2009 post that while health care in the U.S. is at its most critical crossroads in recent history, the debate about it is moving slowly for a good reason, she said. That reason being that, quote, health care is largely an intersection of money and people, which means health care discussions often involve the prioritizing of people according to available funds. How can one possibly measure the needs of children, the elderly, the sick, and the healthy against one another? Most blog posts written during Ocasio-Cortez's reign at the publication, which include articles like Donald Trump's 2012 run for president and Israel-Palestine conflict, aren't available, and only a select few were reviewed by Fox News. Why don't they make them all available? We want to know what this future of the Democrat Party has to say. Now, Boston University's Howard Thurman Center, which sponsored the publication, said the archives couldn't be located as the staff of the center changed and new staffers lacked access to the old posts. Well, how convenient. Yet, her claim of being a follower of a pro-capitalist economist, a libertarian, will surely raise questions about her authenticity, as Adam Smith, the 18th century Scottish economist, advocated free market capitalism and opposed government regulations, contrary to what she, a card-carrying Democratic Socialist of America member, now pitches on the campaign trail. There's just no doubt about it. Howard Husak, a Manhattan Institute senior fellow, told Fox News about Smith being a polar opposite of the New York Socialists. First of all, Adam Smith believes so strongly in price signals, which are telling us what's desired, what's being offered. It allows people who are selling things to adjust their prices to meet demand. They're just central to how the whole economy works. So as soon as you have Medicare for all, you essentially are abolishing price signals when it comes to health care, because the government is not just a one more competitor or one more choice. It kills the whole playing field, and it goes on. Now, of course, our magnificent free press always working very hard to get to the bottom of things, not just to celebrate leftists, of course. Never found any of this. Not MSNBC, not CNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post. None of them. None of them dare look into the background of this lady any more than any of them would look into the background of Barack Milhouse Benito Obama. They don't want to know. See, one of the things the media do, the free press do in this country is they pick and choose, obviously, what guests they want. And by doing that, they either promote an ideological position or, by omission, they kill one that is an ideological position. They're very manipulative. I'll be right back. All right, let's go to Martin, Dothan, Alabama, XM Satellite. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, Mark, I just had a quick point. You were exactly right. Before she ran as a Democratic Socialist, Ocasio-Cortez started a publishing company where, when she was doing interviews, talked about the tax burden and how she wanted it lowered. So it's very convenient that when she opened her own business, she was very, very pro-capitalism.
So when she was involved in founding this publication at college in Boston, she admired Adam Smith, who's the godfather of what we call capitalism. There were others too, but he's the one people remember in The Invisible Hand and so forth. And today she embraces Marx.
Yes.
And why shouldn't we believe, sir, that she is a complete phony and fraud who was running in a district that she knew was left-wing? She ran to the left of the left-wing Democrat who'd been there for 20 years. Why shouldn't we believe that she's a complete fraud and phony?
I don't think that we should believe anything other than that. I think you're exactly right. And your point earlier about class, I think, goes to the point where she and the people like her want to take the Democrats to the party of unity, but they do the sleight of hand where they don't mention that they're the ones that they split everybody up into classes in the first place. But they want to say
that's an interesting point too, and I thought about it a lot when I was writing Meritopia. Let me ask you what you think, Bart. And the way I put it is that the leftists they push us into groups, right? And they actually, what they do is they talk about us as the masses. And then when it works to their favor, they balkanize us by also assigning us groups. So they'll talk about unity, the general interest, the public welfare, we're all part of a mass. And then all of a sudden, they'll reverse course and they'll talk about this race, this religion, this income group, and so forth and so on, in order to balkanize us and turn us against each other.
Right, because it serves their purpose.
Exactly.
They want to join everybody together when it suits them to stir up the vote. But then when they want to talk about policy, they have to have everybody fighting everyone. So when people call here and say, can't we all get along, as long as you have these statist progressives, these radicals, how can we all get along when they don't want us to get along? I think.
And by the way, getting along is one thing. Having the government force us to get along, that is, to accept one position, one idea, one way of doing things, that is the kind of get along that we don't want either.
Exactly.
All right, Martin. Very, very sharp young man. We'll be right back.